Our guest today is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Chicago 2016 Bid Committee. Chicago 2016 is a 501c3 corporation whose mission is to seek the privilege of hosting the Olympic Games in Chicago. He is founder and executive chairman of Aon Corporation. Our guest today started as an entrepreneur and founded an insurance agency of 5 persons in 1965, which grew to become Aon, with over 500 offices in 120 countries. He and his wife Shirley are leaders in serving the needs and interests of children with special needs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Chicago 2016, Pat Ryan. Pat? All right, Pat, let's have some fun.
Looks like you rearranged my notes here.
Not knowingly.
Well, thank you for that very nice introduction, and it's great to be here with you. This is a very exciting time for Chicago 2016 and our effort to bring the Olympics, Summer Olympics, and Paralympics to Chicago. Very importantly, the Paralympics. As you know, I think most of you know, the Paralympics follow the Olympics by 10 days, and we have the most accessible city, major city in this country, if not the world. So we believe that the Paralympics are every bit as important as the Olympics. On September 4th, we were officially declared the U.S. city. Now we're the U.S. applicant city. You can see that up there on our logo. And last week we unveiled our new logo. As you know, we had to cease and desist on our first logo because they thought it looked like too much like a torch. It was really a sphere. But we were able to sell Chicago, but we couldn't sell that. Anyhow, that's our new logo. We're very proud of it. And it's an evolution from our domestic bid. And I think you all know that star right there is the Chicago Star. Very, very important part of our messaging. And our logo is, in fact, all about messaging. So we kept our colors, the blue for the water, Lake Michigan, the green for the parks, the red for the vibrancy of our city, the skyline, and, of course, the 6-pointed star. So it's not just the logo, but it is, in fact, our message as to what we're all about. It's meant to really show that the stars of the Olympics are, in fact, the athletes. The stars of the games, the reason for hosting the games, really to give the opportunity for the athletes to perform at their very highest levels and to come to a city that will welcome them and give them the Chicago hospitality. We wanted a symbol that would help us tell the story of our city, but also point out the Olympic ideals. We wanted a logo that would teach young people, the young people of our city, about the positive value of sport and the potential that the Olympic Games have for promoting good. And the Olympics are really all about that. And the Olympics should always be above politics. So we unveiled this logo at a Chicago public school. I have to tell you, the Disney school is an impressive place. And those kids were, you'll know what I mean by that in a few moments. But here's what a few children had to say about our logo. We're going to show you a little video. And I'm going to keep talking while they get that video rolling. I'm speaking slowly.
think that the Olympics are a great way of all the countries coming together.
Instead of showing the differences, they show the similarities between one another.
The Olympics are about doing the best you can in whatever you do, all the time.
The Olympics help people become better people.
Chicago stands for everything the Olympics stands for, so it kind of connects.
I think the logo is cool.
I like it a lot.
Well, I think the name of the logo for the Chicago Star really works.
I like the colors.
It has a star in the middle with 6 points.
It really gives that feeling that the Olympics and Chicago work together.
The colors all represent different things.
Gold for the skyline of Chicago.
Red would mean passion that the city has.
And then the green will stand for all the parks that Chicago has.
And the blue stands for the different types of waters we have around the city, like Lake Michigan.
Since we were little kids, we've been told like a star is like a dream maybe, and like you reach for the stars.
If you look during the nighttime, you'll see that Chicago is actually very bright with all the city lights. That's what I always thought of, stars.
The star on the logo makes me think of the Chicago stars on the city flag.
The 6 points on the star, they represent like different values in the Olympics and in Chicago.
With hope, it's sort of empowering you to go after your dream and to attain something that you really want.
Sure, you might go through your ups and downs, but there's always something. When one door closes, another one will open. It means that you have to respect the rules and play by them.
I believe harmony means that the nations they're competing friendly. Like there's no hostility, they're not fighting, they're just having fun and representing their nation.
It's good for people to get along. It's better if people get along. We wouldn't have as many problems.
Friendship is a really big part of the Olympics because it brings everyone together.
You know that someone's by your side always, and you always have a shoulder to lean on.
Another value is excellence.
You're inspired to pursue your dreams like what athletes do.
And they should always try to do their best.
The Olympics bring out the best in people.
The next point on the star is celebration.
Chicago is like a wonderful city.
A place that's joyful and fun and everything that just makes you happy.
There's a lot of activities downtown like Taste of Chicago and the festivals.
Chicago's the best.
Really, really beautiful, and like the skyline at night and just lights up, it's so pretty.
Having the Olympics come in Chicago would be a great experience.
I'd be very excited because we've never had it here and I've never been able to go. And if it was here, I could have the possibility of going.
Chicago is such a great city, and we have this opportunity to show other countries that we have great values in this city, and that it's just a wonderful place to hold the Olympics.
Chicago 2016.
Jackie Joyner-Kersee, you probably know, was named the top women's athlete of the last half of the last century. So she's quite a woman, quite an athlete, but a wonderful spokesperson for us. So you know that now we've won the U.S. We are not just Chicago's bid any longer. We're the United States of America's bid. We have a great partner in the U.S. Olympic Committee. We have a fantastic partner with Mayor Daley and the City of Chicago. And Lori, thank you for all that you do, because you are a great partner. And the mayor has just been wonderful to work with, and the mayor's team. So I can't say enough about that. And the U.S. Olympic Committee. We have very strong competition. You know about that. 6 other cities have declared for the 2016 race. They're all great cities. They're world-class cities. And in fact, each one of them brings something of real distinctive value. Obviously, we do. But just to put in perspective for you, Baku and Azerbaijan, former Soviet republic, rich in natural gas, and it's very likely that they're going to use this bid to come out on the international stage. They're going to host the World Wrestling Championships. Here's one that's a dark horse, Doha in Qatar. Lots of oil, lots of gas, lots of money. They built a lot of facilities. They only have 900,000 people there, but they've got so much money that they really want to build the facilities to handle the Olympics. But they want it to be all about peace in the Mideast, showing peace in the world. It's going to have some appeal. Prague, a great city in the Czech Republic. Some say it's a trial run for 2020. It's a beautiful city. Many of you have been there. Central Europe, a lot to offer. Madrid had the almost could have won 2012. They had the best technical bid for 2012. People believe that when they got knocked out early, that had Paris gotten knocked out instead of them by 2 votes, that they would have beaten London. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of people believe that because they had the best technical bid. So Madrid will be a very, very tough competitor. It's a world-class city. Rio, we were down there for the Pan Am Games. They did a really good job. It's a beautiful city. And the Olympic Games have never been in South America. So there's a real sort of sympathy vote for that, in that they should be there. They should. South America ought to be able to host the Olympics someday. We agree with that. Someday after 2016. But they'll be tough. They'll be tough. And finally, there's Tokyo. And Tokyo will be tough. They hosted the 68 Olympic Games. And 64, yeah, who put 68 in here? 64, of course. That's right. And that is not a 4, that's an 8. But it is 64. But they've got the infrastructure and they have the will. As a matter of fact, they want to use it to modernize Tokyo. They want to do a lot of it in Tokyo Bay with landfill. They have planned a brand new stadium, Olympic Stadium, for 100,000 people. And you all know about the tremendous public-private partnership that the government has with industry. So they will not be easy, and it's a great city. But that's what competition is all about. Olympics are all about competition, good competition. But we feel that we're in good shape. We went up against 5 really great U.S. cities. We won. And we won because of what we have here in Chicago, starting with the great people of Chicago. If there was one differentiator, the U.S. Olympic Committee told us, it was the enthusiasm of the people of Chicago. We had 92% awareness, 79% in favor, 8% against, the rest ambivalent. Very powerful numbers. People of Chicago love sport. Some of you are old enough to know that 120,000 people attended a high school football game here. People in Chicago love sport, and they love to celebrate. And they love to celebrate on the lakefront. We get 4 million people for the Taste of Chicago. People having fun on the lakefront. They like to celebrate, and they like to celebrate sport. We have our great museums on Museum Campus. Our games will be in the center city, which is very unique. Everybody said they're going to have compact games. That's the new buzzword, compact games. Well, ours will be compact, but ours will be compact in the center city. That's not been done since Barcelona. And Barcelona was very popular because the people, the athletes were right there in the center city, part of that community. And that's what we'll have here. They'll be in our museums, on our museum campus. There'll be 88% of them from the village will be within 15 minutes or less of their venue. So really an environment where they can perform at their highest level. And the same thing for the Paralympians. Not going to have to get in vans and go long distances with wheelchairs. So it's the great city and the great setting that we have, the wisdom of the people 100 years ago who said this lakefront and these parks are a great asset. And let's have them for the people. And that's really what we have now. So our plans are, in fact, to have very compact games. And we are going to have an experience for all the visitors, but particularly the athletes, that will be unparalleled. We have a great Olympian, Michael Connolly Sr., gold medal triple jump winner. After he won his gold medal in Barcelona, he slept on the beach. And he thinks that athletes will look forward to sleeping on our beach after they win their gold medal. Because they will have their own beach. So the experience goes way beyond the competition. They'll experience Chicago. They'll experience the warmth, the friendly people of Chicago, and they'll experience the world because the world is already here. We have 25 cities, neighborhoods that have 25,000 or more in ethnic population. So the world is already here. And those people want to welcome people from their home country. So, I'm not going to take you through in detail. I'm going to show it to you through what we call our flyover video. So we're going to be flying over Chicago, and you're going to see the compact and central positioning of our games.
In 2016, the world's athletes will enjoy the magic of Chicago right outside the doors of their village. Living next to beautiful Lake Michigan and performing in the center of the city in the heart of a nation, becoming the focal point of a global celebration. The Central Cluster hosts 19 Olympic sports and disciplines, 13 Paralympic sports, as well as the excitement, celebration, and culture of downtown Chicago. Straight up the lake is the North Cluster and beautiful Lincoln Park. Just minutes from the city center lies the Olympic Tennis Center. And within the same park, a slalom course will energize fans with the city and lake as a dramatic backdrop. The world's best triathletes will charge into Lake Michigan at North Avenue Beach before transitioning to the ride and run along the lakeshore and through Chicago's neighborhoods. Directly to the west is the famous United Center, which will come alive with artistic gymnastics and the Olympic basketball finals. Less than 15 minutes from the village, Douglas Park, on Chicago's near west side, is the home of the Olympic Aquatic Center, where all 5 Olympic aquatic sports will compete. The University of Illinois Chicago Pavilion will be host to Olympic boxing, within minutes of the tallest building in North America. Returning to the center cluster, the dramatic city skyline frames Chicago's 450 acres of Central City Parkland, where archers will take center stage, while right next door, the world will come together at a truly unique lakefront celebration center, including a live site and interactive cultural pavilions, all overlooking Monroe Harbor, where Lake Michigan will dramatically come alive with thousands of spectators cheering the athletes in this downtown rowing course. Next to the extensive museum campus, the football finals will be played at historic Soldier Field, host to the opening of the 1994 World Cup. Spectators will cross the footbridge to Chicago's Northerly Island, home to beach volleyball, BMX biking, and track cycling, all on the lake, in a park, in the center of the city. The downtown Central Cluster is anchored by McCormick Place. The nation's largest convention center will be home to 11 Olympic sports and disciplines, 8 Paralympic sports, the International Broadcast Center, and the main press center. And right next door, the athletes live in a custom-built village in the heart of Chicago, but with the relaxation and privacy of their own beach. Outside of their windows, they can watch the sailors prep their boats in adjacent Olympic Harbor. Further south along the lake is Jackson Park, host to the 1893 Columbian Exposition and the new home to Olympic hockey in the game's South Cluster. The Olympic runners will follow the course of the world-class Chicago Marathon until they turn south along the lake and west across the famous Midway, used in the World's Fair as the link between the lake and the historic 380-acre Washington Park. Home of the stadium, the bold new gem of the Games. Custom built for the Games, the stadium will be surrounded by a vibrant live site and sponsor hospitality. The stadium comes to life as the action of the Games is projected on its living skin. Chicago's Olympic venue plan, focused on the athlete, in the center of the city, in the heart of a nation, becoming the focal point of a global celebration.
The International Olympic Committee wants legacies. They want sport legacy and they want urban legacy. So you can see our stadium in Washington Park will be a legacy for that community, with an amphitheater there for performing arts, for cultural events, and for sport. Additionally, we'll have an state-of-the-art aquatic center in the neighborhood that will get an $80 million investment in this aquatic center, the Douglas Park community. It'll become a swimming program for the children of that area, right in the heart of our Great West Side. But in fact, also, it'll be there for competitive swimming, and we believe that it will attract a lot of competitive swimmers coming into Chicago, promoting tourism. The other thing that we think is really important is the continued utilization of our Chicago parks. That neighborhood is a racially mixed neighborhood, and U.S. Swim wants to introduce swimming to minority children. They want swimming to become a part of their athletic life. So we think this will be a great sport legacy. The urban legacy, obviously the stadium in Washington Park, but very importantly, the Olympic Village. A new village right on the lakefront. Over 16,000 people will be living there post the games, opening that lakefront to the neighborhood, a great urban legacy. And as the IOC says, we want to leave something behind that has improved the community. And we believe these urban legacies will do just that. Well, Chicago, as I said, has always been a great sports town, but we want it to be more of an amateur sports town than it is. The last time we hosted any major amateur sport was 1959, the Pan American Games under Richard J. Daley, and we're not getting any credit for that. It's too long ago. So we set up World Sports Chicago to bring Olympic-type sport here. In February, we had international wrestling meet up at Northwestern. China, Russia, the United States, and Canada. Almost 8,000 people, over 7,000, came out in a blizzard to watch those teams wrestle. We had the international volleyball match here, Chicago State, very well attended. And we are hosting the World Boxing Championships at the end of October and early November to prove that, in fact, we can put on major sporting events. But the mayor is very supportive of this initiative to really make Chicago an amateur sports center. I mean, it's the best place for that, really, when you consider our location. So that's a legacy that we want to bring out of this whole Olympic initiative. And we brought in some fantastic Olympians to work with us. Michael Conley, who I mentioned earlier, is the president of World Sports Chicago. A bronze medal winner in wrestling, Bill Scher, is the chairman. So we have tremendous Olympic athlete support. I think it's really important to emphasize that we have to demonstrate that we are interested in amateur sport and we're capable of hosting and being good hosts. Because that's what happens. You're the host of the world, and they turn their franchise over to us. What will you do with it? And that's really important. So we have to encourage all of you to attend those boxing matches. Important. To show our support. Show Chicago's support. That's where we need your help. We need your help in the international campaign. If you know people around the world that are involved in amateur sport, let them know about Chicago, because they'll know the IOC members. Chicago is not a big secret, but it's not as well known as it needs to be. We don't get the international visitors that we ought to have here. The Olympics will bring that. Clearly that happened in Barcelona. Double-digit compounding rates of international tourism, much of it international. Sydney the same way. So there is a lasting legacy of people who will come after seeing it on television or being here. 4 billion people are expected to see the Olympics in Beijing on television. Where can you get that branding? You can't. So it is a fantastic opportunity for our city. We're going to release our economic impact study shortly, and you're going to be very impressed with the economic impact that this will have on our community. We have 60 million people that live within half a day's drive of Chicago. So this is opening up a whole new market, not just Chicago, but the Midwest to the Olympics. The Detroit Free Press said, wouldn't it be great to be able to drive to the Olympics, put the kids in the car, drive to the Olympics? People drive here for theater, for culture, for business, for professional services, for our restaurants, and our shopping. So in fact, they will come. And that's a very important part of all of this. So we want to share our passion to educate everybody that we possibly can about what a great city this is. As I said, the Paralympic Games would be uniquely held in Chicago because the mayor in his wisdom, and prior to Mayor Richard M., with the curb cuts, with the acceptance of the importance, and the city council, Bert, saying we want to be an accessible city. That will be a real advantage for us in showing that we, more than anybody, could host great Paralympic Games. So that's really something that we're selling, and it's very, very important. So what's next? What's next is we fill out a questionnaire and we submit it in January. And then in June, they cut the list, you get on the short list. Probably 4, maybe 5, but my guess would be 4. And then there's a sprint from July 1st of '08 to October of '09, where they make their decision on October 2nd, '09. Seems like it was a long time off, but it's not anymore. Just 2 years, and this last 15 months flew by. So we're out there meeting people. Chicago Symphony Orchestra is on a tour. We've invited some people to come in Rome, people that are interested and involved in the Olympics, to hear the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, to meet Chicagoans. Perfectly legitimate to do. And then they go to Paris and they'll meet more Chicagoans, see the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. It's important to see an icon of Chicago, to show people what really we have in this great city. We'll all be going to Beijing. I can't invite all of you. I can invite all of you, but I can't. The only thing I know is that all of the beach volleyball tickets are sold for 2016. It's an inside joke, but out on Northerly Island, that will be very, very popular. So we want to continue to build our story internationally. I have never seen in my time, over 40 years here in Chicago, the city more bonding, to get more bonded. There's something for everybody in this Olympic opportunity. The South Side, the West Side, the North Side, for all communities. People are bonding over these games, over this potential. I walk down the street and people say, hey, we're going to get the Olympics. And it's we. We, not you, we. And that's a great thing. The children are what the Olympics are all about. If you have a child or a grandchild who's 12 years old now, they'll be the average age of an Olympian in 2016. And the youth are really excited about this opportunity. And I want to share with you a video that's all about the youth and how important having these Olympic Games would be to our youth.
Our motto is, don't let no one work harder than you. And gladiators work hard.
I'm here 6 to 7 days a week, 5 to 6 hours a day. About 18 hours a week.
I'll do a little bit of footwork just to get my body warmed up.
Hit the speed bag, hit the double end bag.
And we go for 3 events for about 45 minutes.
Jog 2 laps around a 400-meter track.
I'm able to do more things than most people at this age, and it's just really cool for me. The part that captivated me was how beautiful the sport was, how graceful.
Such a combination of power and agility and like the balance that it takes to row successfully is just phenomenal.
It's what I do, it's what I'm really good at. Once you find that, you know that you have to pursue your dreams through that, and you can't just let it go to waste.
You fence for yourself and you fence to fight for your values, and I'm ready to dedicate everything to it.
It's so great when you do something successfully. It's not just that great feeling of pride within yourself, but you know that everyone around you is feeling it. You know, you get to be a part of something bigger. When you're tired and you're working through your tiredness, that is when your real work is coming.
You have to be able to push yourself to your absolute physical limit. Everything in your head and in your body is telling you do not do this, but you have to do it to be successful.
It's all gonna pay off in the long run, and I know I can make it.
My dream is to just do my best along the way, and if I can, go to the Olympics.
I can see myself being up on that podium holding my country's flag.
Just being in the Paralympics would be great. I don't necessarily have to win. If I won, it would be phenomenal.
If you go and watch the Olympics, that gives you something to aspire to, and it shows kids that there's something that they can amount to, and it could give them the inspiration they need to keep going, keep the passion for all sports alive in this city.
At the Olympics, you're surrounded by all other athletes of all such a high caliber, and in that sense, you're like a big family. It creates a really special link between Olympic athletes.
Pop, 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 pop.
I feel like my destiny is to be a boxer.
Body and head. That's it.
It's a sport that I love, and I'm making something good out of my fighting on the streets. I wanna make history.
That gives you an idea why we're so passionate about our opportunity to host the 2016. I'd be glad to take your questions. There's a mic right in the middle there, I think.
Hi, Kathy Posner. I'm one of the 8% of the people who don't want the Olympics here because I'm hugely selfish and it'll disrupt my life. But the thing that upsets me the most is when you talk about how the children is what the Olympics are all about. The children of Chicago will not be able to afford tickets to go to the Olympics the same way they can't afford to go to the White Sox, the Cubs, the Bulls, or the Bears. So if we're going to make it about the children, how are we going to make sure that the children will actually be able to attend the Olympics?
I'm really glad you asked that question. Because you saw the rowing, there will be an opportunity for somewhere north of 100,000 people, some say as much as 150,000 people, who will be able to watch from the shoreline, the Buckingham Fountain area, see those games, see those rowing free. We're going to have live sites in the parks where they'll be able to see on big jumbotrons the games.
Yeah, but that's the same as watching it on TV. Will they
Oh,
get
it'll
to
be
go
much
to
different.
opening
It's going to be.
ceremonies? Will
Pardon?
they get to go to opening ceremonies?
I'm
get to
sure.
go
I'm
to
sure there will
basketball
be.
games?
I'm sure there will be benefactors who will, in fact, give tickets to the youth of the city.
Okay, I hope so.
Does that change your vote?
Mr. Ryan, I'm Joyce Sachs, and I'm also, as Kathy is, on the Board of Governors of City Club. Since stars are obviously the theme of today, would you, when we get the Olympics, will you consider having the aldermen, would you consider lobbying them to change the 4 stars in our flag to 5? Right now, they represent 2 good things, the 2 World's Fairs, and 2 bad things, the Fort Dearborn Massacre.
So we need a tiebreaker.
Would that be
Yes.
possible to add a 5th star?
It. I would love it. Thank you.
My name is Ron Gibbs. I'm a City Club member. Contrary to the first speaker, I think we should have the Olympics, and your presentation was fantastic and very inspiring.
Thank you.
2 questions, and I do hope we get it, and we should. But first is the issue of the residual impact, and if you could just comment, and I can see a lot of, but the positive effect of this once the Olympics are over. What's left of some of these venues? What's the projection of their usefulness in neighborhoods? And then secondly, the issue of financing. Everybody is concerned about that. And given the city's commitment, what is the city's commitment, the state and federal government commitment, and what is the Olympic Committee going to look for in the way of that financial commitment compared to some of these other cities, which I think can write the check today? How do we fare there, and what is that cost going to be, do you think?
Okay, well, I thought several really good points made there in the questions. The first one is the reality of the urban and sport legacy we think is very powerful. We think the Village is going to be a fantastic redevelopment of that area. We think the Washington Park legacy for that community is going to be a long-term great value to that community. Certainly the Aquatic Center will be for generations to come a great public facility. The equestrian facility up in Lake County will be a legacy where there'll be adaptive riding, youth riding, and then of course just people who like, equestrian activities as a sport. So a lot of youth programs. But if we win, and with our plans, there should be a significant capital legacy left in what's called the surplus created from the Games that will be invested in a foundation for youth sports programs. LA in 1984 had $240 million they put into a foundation for youth sport. And they have, in fact, created tremendous opportunity for the youth of the greater Los Angeles area. That's our goal, to do that also. As to the federal government, thank you. As to the guarantees, the city council approved an aggregate of $500 million. And here's how it works. We have in our budget a projected surplus of just north of $500 million. Additionally, we have projected contingent capital of about $200 million. After that, the city comes in for $250 million above that. We believe that we would have to be, as Peter Ueberroth said, blithering idiots to not make a profit on the Games. And we don't have blithering idiots. We probably have some blithering people, but they're not idiots. And the reality of it is, we don't think that 250 is ever going to get called. After that, and we're hopeful, we don't have it yet, but asking the state for 150 guarantee, following the city's 250. And then we have, from a private A-plus rated insurer, $500 million of revenue shortfall and cost overrun insurance. Now, that cost overrun cannot be for venues, but it can be for the operations of the Games. So then the city comes in after that for another 250. We believe that we'll make a profit. I expect that it will be in that very large number range, but if it's not, it's still going to be a profit. Now, as to the other countries, President Putin just made a personal trip to Guatemala City and said he would put his personal reputation on the line and his country, guaranteeing the performance of the Games if they gave him to Sochi, Russia, and they did. The Crown in England is backing the Games. Foreign or international governments underwrite the Games. The U.S. government does not do that. We do believe, though, there's a precedent for the U.S. government to invest in transportation to help the Games. And I think it was about $1.2 billion or so that the federal government invested around Salt Lake City for transportation. Also, they've invested in Atlanta, Salt Lake City for security. So we won't get a guarantee out of the federal government. I don't believe we'll need it. I think that our package is going to satisfy the International Olympic Committee, but we need help from the federal government on transportation and on security. Thank you for your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to commend you. I followed you from Washington. I was there when we won, and I've watched you over the city. As you know, I was at the unveiling of the star at Disney. My question is, Black Expo, Black Pages, and African Fest, which is the largest events in Chicago, how will we be considered into this whole proposal?
Well, we want to include the entire community, and frankly, that's working, we believe, but we are working with the city on trying to integrate all of the festivals, everything that's done to celebrate with our people, for our people, of the city of Chicago, the metropolitan area, to integrate the Olympic initiative and activities and sport into each of these events. So that would be certainly what we would hope for.
Can we have a meeting to talk about this?
Sure. Give me a
Okay.
call.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ryan.
Good afternoon.
I have two things. One is a comment, and the other one is a question. My name is Ida Yablanovich, and I'm representing the disabled community in Chicago. The comment I'd like to make is that it's a wonderful video. I noticed something was missing, and that's the most important selling point about Chicago, and that is that it is the most diverse, ethnically and culturally diverse city in the world. I was born in Slovenia, and I have traveled through my professional organization, the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, extensively, although I don't travel now for obvious reasons. So if you would just add that to the video, redub it. I work in communications now. I think that you would have the selling point of this being the right place to hold it. I've been to South America, and Rio is a very nice and diverse city, but not as diverse as this.
Right.
Now my question is, I came here looking for money.
So did I.
There we go. And I knew I came to the right place, okay? Everybody's here looking for the same thing. My company, if you will, is incorporated, and we have a project called Lifeline Phone, which is a free telephone enhanced for the disabled and elderly. The phone is manufactured in Austria and is being distributed by the Royal Academy for the Prevention of Blindness. I don't know which one of the royals has it as a trust, but you know, it's in that network. And I want to make sure that everyone in Chicago who is disabled has access to it, because oftentimes they find themselves stranded with no way to connect with their transportation system. So they need a continuous free connection to the transportation system. And I'm hoping that someone will help fund that, but I expect it to pay for itself over time, because people will have to give a $25 deposit for the enhanced phone that's refundable, and they will buy the cell cards or the minutes from whichever carrier they choose. So that's why I'm here. Can you help me?
I can put you in touch with Linda Mastandrea, who is handling that part of our activities. So.
Thank you, sir.
I don't think we have any more questions. Oh, we do. I'm sorry.
I would also like some, no, I'm just kidding. My name is Takoya Kennedy. I'm representing Mobile Generation Media. We produce news for the younger generation. And I have two questions. The first is, when will the socioeconomic impact, when will that study be released?
Well, we're having a meeting on it on Monday, and hopefully it's getting near to its final form, but I would say in the next 30 days.
Okay. Also, what do you have to say to the people in Washington Park who feel like the Olympics coming into their South Side community will drive them out rather than build a community for them to stay in?
Well, we're not displacing any people. That's one of the great things about our plan, is there are no residential displacements. So, I mean, I don't see why it would drive people out.
How do you guys guarantee that there are no displacements?
Because we're not taking any housing away to build anything we're building. We're adding housing. And incidentally, I should have mentioned this, but the village will be 20%, at least 20% affordable housing. So there'll be additional housing available for people that need help.
Okay. But just one more thing. As gentrification goes, when there are new condos being built, it does often drive people out because they can't afford the taxes and all the other things that come along with gentrification. So how do you guys plan to combat that?
You know, I just think the affordable housing is the only way that I know to do that and create jobs. The Olympics will create a lot of jobs, and we've committed that we want to work within the communities that are impacted to help in terms of people from those communities having important consideration for jobs and job training, and you know, we will be creating a fair amount of additional employment as a result of the games.
One more. Sorry, guys, I promise. Okay. The jobs that the Olympics will create, won't those jobs just be temporary until the Olympics leaves, or?
Some will be, but a lot of them will be permanent. I mean, there are a lot of construction jobs, for example, that there'll be work done way before the Olympics. So there's job creation. But I think we're getting the hook here. So thank you for your questions. Thank you.
To help with the collection for there's a cup. History of the City Club, by the way, Jay forgot to announce that the City Club will also be going around the world, holding meetings at the various places to help the Olympic thing. When they see the symphony, then they'll see the City Club. How can they vote no? And then, of course, 1-year membership to the City Club, sir. Thank you very much. How about a big round of applause for a man with a hell of a job?